It appears that there is a periodic or cyclical event on this planet where the magnetic poles reverse. Just like we have a geographic north and south pole at the top and bottom of the planet, it's the axis around which the planet rotates. Well, very near to that, we have a magnetic north and south pole.
What could happen to the weather that the population observes after a magnetic reversal?
Well, the weather's going to get very serious in terms of climate extreme events.
To your second point earlier, earthquakes and volcanoes. So I'm kind of interested to hear your thoughts on how a magnetic reversal would affect those geological events.
Well, absolutely. The same way I talked about how the storms will be getting worse even before the magnetic reversal happens. That will be due to the increasing space weather energy effect on the planet. When I talked about the low pressure system's spin changing direction after the reversal, that's because Earth's magnetic field has changed. But as the field is weakening on the way to the reversal, both the sun and galactic cosmic rays are going to be able to have a lot stronger effect on our weather, and that's going to be the cause of that. Now, I bring that up again now because that's the same kind of thing that we're looking at in terms of our earthquake triggers. We have done a number of studies on how the solar polar magnetic fields, things like coronal hole activity, coronal mass ejection, solar flare activity, certain things in the solar wind, galactic cosmic rays, a number of elements of space weather can be highly correlated in a dependence form to these large earthquake and volcano events. It's one of the things we've been looking at big time over the last few years. And so the only thing that's really modulating that interaction is Earth's magnetic field. And so as that gets weaker, the energy from space will just interact with Earth more and more and more, not just in the atmosphere, but through the lithosphere, the crust as well. And that's where you're going to get the more severe and more frequent large earthquakes and volcano eruptions.
In this broadcast, we'll discuss the second coming of Jesus Christ, which occurs at the same time as a magnetic polar flip and catastrophic global earthquake. On the day which Jesus returns, there will be a polar reversal. Isaiah 24:20 says, "The earth will crack and shatter and split open. The earth itself will stagger like a drunk, sway like a hut in a storm. The world is weighed down by its sins. It will collapse and never rise again." Revelation 6:12 says, "There was a violent earthquake, and the sun became black like coarse black cloth. And the moon turned completely red like blood. The stars fell down to the earth, like unripe figs falling from the tree, when a strong wind shakes it. The sky disappeared like a scroll, being rolled up, and every mountain and island was moved from its place." The polar flip will make the stars race across the sky. And the vacuum created from the reeling of the earth will pull the atmosphere along the ground, trying to catch up, creating what is known as a roll cloud, which will pull with it the dust and ash created from the global earthquake. Psalm 97:5 says, "The mountains melted like wax at the presence of the Lord." The global earthquake will be so bad that every hill and mountain will crumble. Revelation 16:20 says, "And every island fled away, and the mountains were not found." Revelation 6:15 says, "The kings of the earth, the princes, the commanding officers, the rich, the strong, and every slave and free person, hid themselves in the caves and in the rocks of the mountains. They told the mountains and the rocks, 'Fall on us, and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb, for the great day of his wrath has come. And who is able to stand?'" The global earthquake will seem unending, and no one will be able to stand on that day, as the sky vanishes under a roll cloud and the stars fall from heaven. The buildings in every city in the world will collapse into utter destruction, killing millions. Isaiah 30:25 calls it, the day of the great slaughter. When the towers fall. And just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, Revelation 16:21 says, hailstones, weighing about 100 pounds each, fell from the sky on people. After the volcanic ash and dust from the global earthquake has been kicked up into the sky, it will combine with a supercooled atmosphere from the vacuum created by the Earth's reeling. This will result in hailstones, which weigh about 100 pounds each. Matthew 24:30. Then, the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky. And all the peoples of earth will weep, as they see the Son of Man, coming on the clouds of heaven, with a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he does judge and make war. Zechariah 14:4 says, he will take his stand on the Mount of Olives east of Jerusalem, and the mountain will split in half, forming a wide valley that runs from east to west. From here, Jesus will go out to wage war against the Antichrist and his army, and the many Arab nations, coming against Jerusalem and Israel. Joel 3:16 The Lord roars from Mount Zion. His voice thunders from Jerusalem. Earth and sky tremble. But he will defend his people.